Emotionally unavailable.
Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of emotional availability and intimacy. I'm your host, Melissa Hepner, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this journey of self-discovery and connection. Whether you're navigating the complexities of relationships or exploring your own emotional landscape, this podcast is here to inspire, empower, and entertain. So get cozy and let's explore the depths of human emotions together. Hey guys, happy Friday. Sorry this episode's late. It's been a very busy week. Today's guest is Andrew Nicholas, and he's got other last names, but I cannot pronounce them as beautifully as I did Nicholas. Anyway, I'm just playing. He has a beautiful accent, by the way. So he's on Instagram, he refers to himself as a cognitive technologist who does preventive education for suicide and addicts, as well as reintegrative treatment, cognitive technology, and enhanced learning. He is a fucking beautiful human being who is literally just giving of himself day in and day out. And he's very kind. He's very loving, very real, very raw. We had such a connection, and I'm so grateful for him that he exists in this world, and to know that people like Andrew are in this world in all corners of the earth. Like, it's so cool to, like, I'm just over here talking to somebody on Google Meet who I believe is in Cancun, if I remember right. I didn't get to give this episode a really big listen. In editing, I barely touched it, so, which is usually when I'm editing, I don't really touch it anyway, but I will listen, and I just didn't get a chance, so I'll have to hear it on Spotify or Apple, I guess. But, yeah, he's a good dude. He's like, created, some really cool cards that you're going to hear him talk about, but anyway, I'll just let him explain that to you, but you will love him so much. And thank you, Andrew. I hope you listen to this, and just want you to know from the bottom of my heart that I have not forgotten about this interview and how you made me feel. And I sincerely love you, and I appreciate who you are as a human. And to everybody else, I love you. I hope you are doing well. I'm doing very well. It's just been really busy, and it's hard to get it all done sometimes, but these last 3 weeks have been fucking amazing for me because I'm just living in a constant state of gratitude, and that is where it's at, man. That's where the sauce is. So, okay, I'm gonna stop talking, but I do love you, and I hope you have a fabulous Friday. And here's me and Andrew.
Emotionally unavailable.
Hi.
Heyo.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a busier morning than I thought I would have.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's a good busy. And you?
I got a little busy too. I mean, I was in charge of that, but then I lost track of time and then just realized that I didn't post this episode today that I just posted to my highlights. And I was like, let me do that before I fucking forget, because I put it in my damn caption that the link is in the damn podcast highlights. So, you know, my bad. Okay, so I read what you wrote in the portion of like the sign up. You sound so fucking cool, man. You're doing a lot of really rad stuff.
It doesn't feel like that sometimes because it's sometimes it feels like you're the only, like I'm the only person screaming
Yes.
in the middle of it. But then again, that's why I do the thing.
Right. Yeah, it's funny how what is that saying? Something like the poison being the cure or something. But it's like we started these journeys that we've taken to kind of deal with our own shit, and we share our light with others, but then that like requires a constant fulfilling like of our own light to keep it like going. And it's a constant give and take and ebb and flow of energies, and it can feel kind of isolating sometimes, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. Because as we start, we all start from the same place of what the fuck is this? Oh, I have a body. It was like,
Yeah.
what is this? What is this celestial miracle? An anus. You're gonna have to manage it. What? And then from there, we face the things. And I didn't start out going like, oh, I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm gonna be called teacher by people. I was just we're safe now. There's
Uh-huh.
people in front of me. Oh, they hired me to tell them about that shit. You know,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, I take it with that gigantic. It's not a pinch of salt. It's like a gigantic handful or cup of salt because I've been called both a spiritual teacher and a fake spiritual teacher,
Really?
like equally enthusiastically throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I was like, okay, so what the hell is a spiritual teacher according to these people? And then I realized, like, oh, when we're in despair, whomever has good advice to us, that's our spiritual teacher.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes it's your mechanic. I took my car yesterday, and he had great insights about his own soul that I was like, interesting. I have one of those too, and that matches my thing. You know?
Yes.
Um,
I love those like just opportunities to connect with yourself through someone else because they had an experience or whatever it was. And like when they come so out of the blue like that, because you're not expecting to connect with someone going to the mechanic, you know?
yeah, you're worried about, please, car, get me there.
Yeah,
You
make
know.
it, please, make it. So what do you spend
Ah,
like the majority of your time doing? Where do you put most of your energy, I'll say?
um, most of my energy goes home. I have a kid. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and
Mhm.
so you know,
They're a lot.
uh,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, and I put most of my like visual, like public facing energy. I put it through TikTok.
You
I
do?
used to do. I do. I used to do. We used to do stand-up comedy here in Cancun, like eight years ago. And I put a bunch of energy into that. We're having from 5 to 6 shows per week.
Wow.
But the catch was it was all amateur comedians. I was training
Yeah.
all of them. While I was 3 lessons ahead of them. While teaching the lesson, like lesson two, I've got lesson three. Let's do the thing.
Okay, I learned it. Now I'm gonna teach it.
Basically, I was basically telling them like, hey, I'm just like you, except I already took the time to set up the whole thing. So let's keep. But it was a lot of outward facing energy. I knew that something had to be done in the city because I know Cancun is beautiful if you look at the beach and the jungles, but when you look at the floor level, we have a lot of issues. Every what city doesn't. So I was very focused on that, on doing something that I knew would impact and change, literally modify people's destinies. Because when they pause their day or their weekend to listen to you, they are opening up their mind to be filled with whatever. And doing stand up, there's going to be dick jokes because doing stand up with amateur comedians, oh my
Yeah.
God, they're so terrible. They're
I
terrible. You're going to hear so many of those. But that's preferable to having people stab each other on the street. So, yeah, dick
exactly.
jokes it is.
It's like the after school programs that they put up for troubled youth. You know, sometimes they're doing dumb shit instead of playing the ping pong like you want them to, but
Exactly.
at least they're not out there shooting each other in the face or trying to
Exactly.
sell, fucking oregano, passing it off as weed. Whatever,
Passing off as we
whatever.
or stealing their grandmothers to buy. Yeah, all of those problematic things, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, because I have a daughter, I'm focused on being at home for her. Um, and so internet is a great window. And so I started doing things on TikTok. I started with a breathing exercise. At some point, after like about a year or so of like we're talking about all sorts of different topics there, sort of testing things, I realized, wait, people who see you on the platform will most likely see you once in their life. So you're
Mm-hmm.
auditioning for this one time. So I thought, well, what can I give them that they can just take? Like, what? Put it on and then carry on with that. So I came up with an exercise, with a breathing exercise. Just inhale, connect to the heavens, exhale, connect to the earth. Inhale, exhale, Connect to your body and realize you're here and you are now, and that's it. That's the only place where you are.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry to all those who want to escape into the fifth dimension. This is the most sacred spot of the entire universe. But it's okay. You're heaven and earth. See you soon. So, just I just did that for a year. Just every day, one video at least,
Just
and
a
then
connection, like a connecting to your body. Yeah.
yeah, just connect up above, down below. Connect with yourself. Remember your heaven and earth, and that's it. No, no, nothing. No, no. Yeah. Think of the human.
Ah.
Every time I hear someone talk about the human resonance, I go like, did they study this shit? They did not study this shit. And then I get really upset. Um, but that's why I did it, so that to give something that would be just
Yeah.
useful that the person can just use. And then people started pinging me back and saying I was in the middle of a panic attack, and that shit took it out. I
Wow.
was in the middle of something horrible, and then I remember that. And that didn't destroy me. And I was like, shit, yeah, that's why I did it. But holy shit, feels amazing.
Isn't that the best feeling when you're like, I mean, I know it works. I'm not surprised to hear that it's working, but also I'm so shocked to be receiving this feedback and I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's like you're walking around and someone you've never seen just stops you and go like, here's some cake. I love you, man. You're awesome, and just keeps walking. And you're like,
Yes. Yes, I
you get,
totally feel that.
and especially when, and this is an experience you can really relate to as well. Getting that feedback on days when you yourself are feeling like garbage.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm worthless, and then this guy comes in and, dude, you saved my life and my child's life, and this is amazing, man. Thank you. I'm not, well, I might be garbage, but there's flowers on me.
Yeah.
I was garbage, but now I'm compost. I don't feel so bad.
Yeah. Sometimes, like on those really hard days where you're just like in the middle of the shit storm because there's too much to do and you don't have like a solid direction that day or whatever, like that's kind of the one of the biggest things that can happen that will snap you out of that and be like, keep going. Like what you're doing matters.
Yeah, because to us sometimes we can end up being a bit cynical when we start thinking about numbers, and we're like,
Yep.
only 100 views, meh.
Yep.
Dude, 100 people saw that shit and they don't want to kill you for it. They're happy about it. That's a bunch of lives.
Right.
Like,
Well, because like if you sold out 100-seat stadium or like a little room to give your talk, that would be a big deal. But because the World
if
Wide Web hosts millions of people, 100's not good enough. I mean, yeah,
we're like,
I
meh.
get it. I do it too. I do it too. The metrics can fucking weigh you down if you let them. But that's what I have to tell myself too is like, hey, like I have a little membership right now. And when I say little, it is so fucking tiny. I've got 5 members, but like I believe in what I'm doing there. And I'm still trying to figure out
Yeah,
what the fuck I'm doing there. Like I know what I want to accomplish, but like getting there, I'm developing it. And they know, like I've told
right.
them like, hey, I'm just kind of winging it here because I know what I want to give you, but I have to create this entire program. But like I'm not going to
Yeah.
be sad that there's only 5 members, like 5
It's
people
5.
are listening to my shit.
Yeah. It's that's way more than not zero. That's so
Right.
much more than not zero. It's not
Yeah,
only 5 times more than zero. It's 5 people. I hear ya.
exactly.
It's and it's this thing where you're doing the thing for the first time along with them. So sometimes it feels like you don't know the lesson. No, like you're sitting at the piano with everyone going like, I'm here at the same thing of you. But then you remember, wait, I built the boat that we're sitting on, right? Oh, I
Right.
just hold my beer. What's this shit? I'm gonna in things that I do, one of the things that I taught at the clown school, or well, in the clown exercises, was the use of a word that we made up called toramboli, which we just throw it. It's a word that sounds funny, but we throw it as a way of opening up the space to say, I'm going to do my sincere effort, as imperfect as it may be. Here it goes. And then toramboli, and then you do the thing, and then whatever
Yeah.
opinion you have of it, because you're gonna have opinions of the thing, like, it could have been. we reply with, you know, however it comes out, we catch you, we receive it, we listen, and if you need reassurance, we go, "Caramboli." Oh, yeah, you know, it can be whatever sound. What's important to me
Right.
is, setting up the space to go like, hey, I'm gonna try this shit for the first time in front of you. It's a world premiere. It's no one else gonna. You ready?
Yes, I love that
Um,
framing of that because, well, it's a gift to have any space where you can go be that level of vulnerable to where, like, you're right. Like, because the way I'm doing this is what do I need? You know, and then I'm like, okay, I need
right.
this. Like, I did a little 2-week course on building emotional hygiene because I was like, I want better emotional hygiene. So I'm going to do this. And if I, that's my
Yeah.
gift is I find what I need and I share it with others. So then I know what I need, but now I got to build the information and put it out there in a
Yeah.
succinct way. And then I got the damn flu. So, there's all these like complicating factors, but like I had to build the boat. Then I had to like go out and get all of the groceries and, everything that everyone's going to need for the
All the
boat, all
things
the things. And then I got to teach about building the boat and getting the groceries and and it is a
and
gift
record it.
and it's a passion, but it's scary.
Yes, it's scary and it's exhausting and it's both fascinating and infuriating. One of the things that I love about the creative process is because most people don't see themselves as creative.
Right.
And it's very funny because most people don't see themselves as creative, but they love creativity. We depend on creativity for everything in our lives, for everything that's good in our lives. But then when that creativity is, when someone tells us like your turn, we're like, oh, but I could never. It's like, shut up, you do it all the time. You just don't notice. But when we set ourselves up, uh, as you have done, to say, all right, so I need this because yeah, this won't do. Not for this season. This is
Yeah.
improving now. Okay, I do the thing and yeah, people, of course, because I'm doing the thing. Follow, yeah. Um, all of all of your is there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because you can have whatever opinion about how it came out, but those who are receiving it from you, to them that is sacred water,
Yeah.
plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Because to them, it's like, I was walking through the desert and then I saw this lady and I was like, what is she doing? It's amazing. How do I want to? Can I? Yes, I can help. Yeah, in the meantime, you're there doing the thing, thinking, I'm so crazy. I am
All
crazy.
the
I
things
am the.
exactly. Self-doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
like, like, what's getting out of place? You're like, I haven't even. And but we don't notice that people around us who are receiving that medicine, they see the medicine.
Yeah.
They get the
And
medicine.
I
We're
love the way you're
grinding the
framing
bitter
that
seeds,
because
you know.
that's my problem sometimes is I mean, like I really sit in the energy of this is a gift. Oh, we're getting some feedback.
Yeah, just my headphones are behaving.
And you don't have to wear them if if it is an issue. Like none of the sound on here is like whatever. We're bare bones up in this bitch.
Right. Let me like this. How about now?
That's fine. Yeah.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, if you don't get feedback like that, that's also great. Awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. But I just keep saying like kind of what you were saying, which is I know that what I'm saying matters and that what I'm doing matters. And I have that vision of that receipt, that type of receipt of what I'm doing, like where they're like, yes, thank you. I was lost and now I'm found because I found me. You know what I mean? Like, help. I want to lead people home to themselves. And I see it and I believe it. But when you don't have like proof in this reality at all times, because you know how easy it is to stop and start judging or fearing or doubting, and so the second a little bit of proof gets on the outside instead of right in front of your face, it's so easy to be like, okay, well, am I not doing it right? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Am I failing catastrophically? Should I jump into a
Exactly.
volcano?
Exactly. What are the
Yeah.
metrics for that? Because I don't even think I want to know, actually.
We're checking our bingo card, going like, okay, I won't jump into the volcano this week, but if I don't get this done by next week,
Exactly.
meanwhile,
All the
people
cards.
around us
Yeah.
are like, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
but it's very interesting because people need, as you mentioned earlier, the connection is something that we need so much, and it's also something that's it's it's like we're scared of water. We're thirsty for the water, but we're scared of it. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm dying of thirst in the middle of the desert. Oh, there's a waterfall there, but is the water cold? Because I don't wanna,
Yep.
I don't wanna.
Is it
And it's
safe?
like, go get your, you know.
Get the damn
Um,
water.
that's where, for example, I learned through comedy. I learned, and it's interesting because I doing stand up. I didn't learn to play. When I did stand up, I didn't consider myself funny. I didn't consider myself. I had my humor. I have a joke. It's not super translatable, but do you know there's a beer, a brand, a beer brand called Corona,
Uh-huh.
which means crown. I had this joke about what beer does Jesus drink. He drinks Victoria because Corona makes his head hurt.
Jesus.
um, um, but it wasn't until after I was done doing sound, because that was done by thinking. You know, I observed and
Yeah.
thought and played with the words and aligned them. That joke, by the way, I wrote it with a friend, with a comedian, with a friend Oscar Mayorga. But moving forward in life, I realized what was more applicable was play, but I learned to play until after I left the stage. And that is when I started playing with, seriously, with masked comedy. And the key with this thing is the mask has its own rules. Once you put it, you have to be them. You know, but then the game happens when you wear the mask, but you train it while being the mask. You're sort of going to the character. You go into the mask, not into the character, which is the disposition,
Yeah.
the attitudes and the sort of movements and the.
Yeah.
And then you place that in front of the most embarrassing moment you can think of, which is a public space. And you go out in public and you start in front of people while making eye contact in public. And that is going to make all of your insecurities rise up like a volcano inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
The fun part is nobody knows. While you're looking at people outside and rolling and smiling until someone starts looking at you and going hee 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 and you start playing, nobody knows that you're feeling like you should jump into the volcano. But
Right.
just standing there and holding that energy of play with the disposition of I'm playing, I am playing.
We are gonna have fun, damn it.
We're gonna connect and we're gonna enjoy this moment. You're gonna trust me, I'm a clown. You know
Yeah.
that same strength for holding and sustaining play is the same strength that we use to carry ourselves in every other area that's important to us, because
Yeah.
our willpower is the same. It's just a big excuse. Play became for me a perfect excuse for people to trip into their mightiest power.
Yeah.
Because if you tell them do something powerful, they're gonna be like, "But I'm not." But if you tell him become a banana, they're gonna be like, "Banana." You can be like, "That was perfect. That was perfect. You didn't even notice that you did all this thing and your feet did the thing." Interesting how you claim you can't dance because you feel observed. Interesting. Now, next, start with a banana then. Start the banana and then just from there start moving. You know, plays is this powerful tool. And with this powerful tool, again, and just like you, I started using it for my own sanity.
Yep.
Um, but then, as you use it on your own sanity, it turns out not everyone is dedicated as many times, as many hours during the week and day and month and year to strengthening themselves inwardly and to looking at themselves and knowing who they really are. And so, inevitably, you end up being an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and again, it doesn't matter what opinion you have of yourself. You can think that you're the craziest ever,
Yeah.
but if you change someone's life, well, you remember
Exactly.
that way. What that you remember that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So
do you believe like that this is like your purpose?
I don't know.
Do you believe in a
I,
purpose?
um, the thing is, life is big enough for me to have met and achieved and let go, like my purpose several times. At some point, I was like, oh, my purpose is to reach an international organization and have an impact. But then 13 years ago, I got to Enlazando Esfuerzos, which is it was a second tier nonprofit. It's the kind of nonprofit that downloads like funds and whatnot. Um, and I ended up working with them. Well, not even working. I ended up volunteering, donating time and energy, and being the head of a thing that was called Enlazando Conciencias, which was like linking consciousness was the name of the thing. And the mission was to study the formula, the equation of critical mass as dictated by this 100 ape exercise.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to study it throughout all of Mexico in over 8 cities and
Wow.
with hundreds of nonprofits. So we cracked the code of how do you get the thing to do the thing. Um, and so when I did that, when we got to that point, I was like, wait, this is super legendary, isn't it? Yeah, we still need to get it out there and have it done in the world. Yeah, because it's just 20 people here that would know this thing. Oh, shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, um, I would say, to complete the answer, I would say that my purpose is an ecosystem.
Hmm.
I've come unequivocally again and again to a purpose that sees us as ecosystem. We're all little fun walking proteins on mother planets. You know,
Yeah.
we're part of mother planet. What I'm trying to illustrate.
Yeah.
But I see ourselves as this we're magnificent protein carrier thingy creatures. Um, but it's an ecosystem. We're an ecosystem. We must understand each other as ecosystem. Because otherwise we get wrapped up in such stupid bullshit that allows for innocence to die every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, we know that missiles are a thing. But for missiles to not be a thing, it cannot. If I go, oh, it's my missiles or your missiles, it's still missiles, man. Why do we have missiles on the table? We could have cake.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could have music and dancing.
Yeah.
Right?
You're making me think about purpose in this new way. It's been like several days of this thought that keeps popping up. And now I think it just came together where I think maybe the whole point is you do go through these evolutions through your entire time on this planet. And maybe the point is that we look at, see, accept us and our gifts in any given moment and share. Just share yourself with others. Like share your gifts, share your joy, share your peace, share your answers, whatever. Like just acknowledge though, like, because I'm noticing people are uncomfortable to speak what they believe their gifts to be, and I do believe that we have unique magic and we need to see that and hold it and use it.
Absolutely agree. Ooh, I furiously agree. One day I was meditating at the house of an old witch, una curandera nahuala. The legendary nahuales and those. I hang out. Well, I am actually one of those. Um, I've my story is super weird. I have this like, but I was sitting at the house of this witch lady, meditating and writing, and at some point I was pondering like this thing like about the purpose and what should I do here. And at some point it sort of blurted out like I felt it. It started here, and it ended up in my hand and in writing, and it said, "Celestial cell of all of cosmos, only you are you. Will
Exactly.
you finally, will you now behave with your celestial dignity, please?" I wrote it down and I was like, oh, I felt told off by my own hand. um, And also the sharing of our gifts, the sharing of our magic out loud, filling up the space and going, "This is my magic and it's imperfect. I know you
Exactly.
have opinions on the shit, but I'm getting better because I'm not an idiot. I'm learning as I walk." We should all do that. We should all
Yeah.
do that. I've done that in public and people just shy away crazily. If
Oh yeah.
I stand in the middle of a group and start singing, and eventually go like, "May this song be beautiful for all of you. Good luck to all of you in your tiring, tiring day." And I'm at the supermarket. I just do that and just return to the shape. People
So the
don't
people
know
around
what to
you think
do.
you're psychotic.
Oh yes, yeah. That's why I walk around with my
Is
invention
that
at
part of the
hand. I'm
fun?
like,
Do you love
yeah,
that? You want them to kind of, yeah, I like it. You
it's
like to shake shit up, right? Disrupt a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
I like
Because
it too.
most people don't. Most people waste their time not shaking shit up.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah,
like,
I
you
think
know
I'm
what?
learning to shake it up, but I've always been more of the back row person, and I'm learning how to kind of step into the spotlight a little bit.
Yeah, you do have a podcast now, so
I do, I
it's
do.
a spotlight. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting. Like
that
you're
was
like,
a
I'm
very
still
good step
learning.
for me to take.
Yeah, it's sorry. Can you repeat the last question? The
Uh,
the, the last thing you said. Um,
oh, I said it was a good step for me to take to do the podcast.
for sure. And I bet if I asked those 5 people, they would fill several paragraphs. Yeah, I like to underline those periodically just to sort of poke at you. Go
Yeah,
like,
no, but
keep at it.
it's
You better
true,
keep
and
at it.
it does connect, and there is a connection point there, and it all matters, and it all comes together. That's where, like, me being in the surrender for the last 6 months has really just opened my eyes. Like, it is always okay, even if you don't know how it's going to be okay. And what does okay mean? What is your level of tolerance, and how can you increase that without trying to be the one in charge of everything? And that has been the
I,
lesson that I'm having to learn over and over, is like, quit trying to be in charge. I'm truly only doing shit based off intuition. If I get the feeling more than twice, and then, I go take a shower and the idea forms into something that I can actually do something with, then I will just go for it. And I don't put like a fuck ton of thought into stuff because I put my soul in it. You know what I mean? I go
yeah,
and I put it out. Maybe I'm going to have to revise a version or two because I, rushed it a little bit, but I just did what felt really passionate at the time. That's what
yeah,
I'm doing. I just kind of roll with it.
yeah. I hear you. I've um, I've learned to lean on that too. I've I had to learn to lean on that because at some point, at several points,
Several.
you're
Yeah.
walking around through life and you're going like, yeah, things are moving forward, and then things start crumbling, and you're like, don't crumble,
No,
and
the
they still,
second you say things are moving forward, it will fucking crumble every fucking
it,
time.
right? Fucking
Every
yeah.
fucking time.
That's my complaint to the Great Spirit every time. I'm like, bitch, I'm on your side.
I
What
did
the
what you
fuck?
fucking told me to, first of all. And second, because just like 2 days ago, I was like, oh my God, this is good. This is good. Like oh my God, it feels so good. And then today I've had a little bit of a shit storm. And I've been like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that was not funny. Why every fucking time I get all like, yes, I see the proof, all the proof goes away every time, every fucking time.
Well, that's how I end up with hair like this. That's exactly how that happens. That's exactly how that happens. Yeah, that's why that's how we end up screaming in the middle of a public place because
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? If it's gonna crumble,
We're going to take it down my way, okay?
yeah, I'll be the
Yeah,
one with matches, bitches. Yeah,
exactly. Let me burn it down on my own terms, please. Yes. Well, I
yeah,
mean, and is that, oh God, that's, oh, it's so hard for me to stick with something when I'm not getting the result I want quickly enough. I've been that way my whole life. And there are just times that because
I'm also working through that whole self-doubt because as children, especially people raised by boomers, all of our choice was taken from us, all of it.
All
And
of
we didn't get to
yeah.
learn to listen to our own voice at all. So now we're a bunch of people who don't know how to listen to our voice and we second guess all the time. So that's been like really powerful for me to just, I made a decision. I started this podcast. I do the other things I do, and I stick with them regardless of what some analytic or metric tells me. Like, if I feel like this is what I'm meant to be doing, and how I know that it is because of how it lights me up, whether I ever make a dime off any of the shit I'm doing or not, this is the thing that lights my soul on fire, and I'm going to do it. But it can be challenging because I start to hear like, well, if there's too many obstacles, maybe that's a sign, or, just things like that. And I'm like, stop it, Melissa, because there's going to be obstacles. You
There's
are the obstacle, and your brain is limitless. So it's going to present itself.
Dude, a cup of coffee can be both an obstacle and a distraction. I'm gonna do the thing, but first some coffee, and then we walk around and away from our purpose. And then we go like, wait, why am I depressed? Oh, right, but that thing that lit me up, I haven't done that. Ah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
exactly right. Yes. Every time I have, like, during the flu period, which I'm over 40, so it hit me really hard. I've never been that sick in my entire life. I'm still recovering, still on meds that don't make me feel very good. But like, I'm back to like 90%. So I'm so grateful for my health right now. But
Right.
the energy that you have when you're sick like that, like, it was scary because it was nothingness, it was void. And I worked so hard to feel love, compassion,
Yeah.
joy, and peace every fucking day. And I wasn't feeling shit other than tired, cranky, and irritable and numb. And I was scared because I don't know what to do with those feelings anymore. But I kind of just leaned in and said, resistance, first of all, makes everything harder. So you're sick, babe. Sleep. What can you do to feel a little bit of
Do it.
joy when you can't use your brain? Turn on this little comedy show. So I did that. Or, when I got a little more energy, I'd play a dice game with one of my kids. I just did what I could. And then one day I felt better and I was like, oh, the energy's back. I'm so happy. I'm full of love. I'm full of joy. I'm full of peace, but I always go back to like, what can I do to give myself one of those feelings?
Yeah, and it's so great that you mention it because it's the kind of thing that um now, just now when you mentioned it, I was like, that's right. And it's the kind of thing that every time someone reminds us, it's like, yes, 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 of course. Because then it's very easy to fall into, in my case, resistance. I fought long and hard for a project during the past 2 years. Um, it to the point where it crumbled my marriage. Like my wife's gonna kick me out because she's a saint. But it got to that point. It was that bad that I was like, I need to get
You were
this
so
going.
consumed.
You know, exactly, and it consumed me completely. Um, and then looking back and realizing and taking the lessons from it is like, well, I was in resistance of all of the things that weren't aligning. Yes, I was. I know myself validated in seeing the things and making the decisions I made when I made them, because the thing was the cave was falling down, and I was, like, this is where we go through the thing. This is where we land the project, the thing, the whatnot. Um, but that tension I carried over up until the thing was done, up until afterward, until like months and months and months later, that it was like 3 days ago, where it was like, I still have that. I'm gonna say, like I said, I'm gonna still have that stick up my ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worse when it's figurative than literal, because literal, when it comes out, you go to the doctor and it comes out. But when it's figurative, it goes with you.
It stays with you. Yeah. You're just,
It's
yeah,
good.
you just, man, I love the way you speak because it creates so many visuals for me. And that's how I like connect to things, you know. But yes, that is such a good point to not get so lost in the sauce that you forget to love what you're fucking doing and stop applying all
Yeah.
this perfectionism and bringing in old baggage to try to like validate who you are in a project that you're doing. And remember, like the whole idea was light myself up and share that light with others, not fucking destroy myself.
Yeah. Not walk
Yeah.
around the husk of what I used to be. Like, yeah. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, with that project, I ended up being a complete husk of what I was.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
It completely broke me. That project, well, not the project. I disintegrated myself carrying it forward.
Yeah.
Um, and it's also the kind of thing where if I had the choice to do it again, yes, I would do it again. Of course, I wouldn't say yes to all the things that I said yes, which
Yeah.
is one of the big things that happen when we're soul driven. We feel so in alignment with what we are doing that we assume the same alignment and the same commitment and the same purity from anyone who comes around us.
You're
And
right.
that makes us, unfortunately, that makes us gullible.
Yeah.
And that opens us up to predators. In my case, that opened me up to predators. And
Mm.
we're building a community center, and people stole and everything they could from the community center. So they're like, what the fuck? But then the lesson was like the light that you're carrying is it's it's yours to take care of.
That's right. It's yours
So
to take care of.
take good care of it. That doesn't, of course, if someone says to toss water on it, go like, fuck no. No, and you did it once. Next time, because I
Mm.
don't believe in peace. It's interesting because I'm a peace building. I am a sacred clown, peace builder, social educator, cultural implementator, and peace requires to slap someone every now and then.
Hey,
You know,
that is fair. I'm so serious. That's the balance that I'm trying to find within myself because I talk about this a lot. How I used to do a lot of future self journaling and I would
hit
want to
with
be
the
all
elbow, not with the
zen.
head.
Well, I don't slap people. I would like to, though. I would like to, but I wanted to
Right?
be all like perpetually unbothered and just, real Buddha like. But then I was like, but I just found my voice and my fire, and I want to embrace that. And I
Yes.
am a fierce fucking advocate for myself and others. And that has to be a part of this. And so, it is a delicate balance sometimes between I am love and light and harmony and whatever. And fuck you, you're not going to fucking talk to me like that. And I am leaving space for all of it. And none of it makes anything more or less on either side. I am who I am.
One day, someone after my, I don't know how many people have uh, criticized me online, saying that I was incongruent as a spiritual teacher because I would tell them, "Hey guys, I could give you a class on the weekend, but there's a cost to it," and they'd be like, "Why are you charging?" And I'm like,
Because I need to fucking make money. And what
"You
I'm
charge
doing
for
is
what you know,
valuable.
right?"
Yeah.
Like, but
No,
but
I
suddenly
totally know
when
that.
suddenly when it comes to the spirit, or when it comes to what's most important to people's lives, they want it for free, but they want it for free, but then they don't want to make an effort. So I was like, nah.
Right. If you don't
Um,
charge, they don't do it, first of all. They
exactly.
don't. Nobody, if you're not invested, which is what money is an investment, and you
Yeah.
clearly, and I mean this with love, but they're clearly not invested in themselves, or it wouldn't have taken somebody on the internet to trigger something like that. And that's okay. That's not said with judgment, but like, when are you going to start investing in yourself? And we're not saying that as a fucking sales gimmick. We
It's not
mean
part
it.
of a funnel. We say it. The way I say it is, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you throw money at me. If you want to learn something specialized, it's worth your money to pay for
Right.
something specialized. That's what
Yes,
I do. I have
exactly.
I have classes. I was given a scholarship last week, a music scholarship with the biggest musical teacher in Cancun. That costs money. He gave me a huge discount, massive discount, but still, to me, to 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 go to him and say, "Dude, thank you." That make that, to me, that's great.
Yes, to be
Yeah.
able to afford it, however you can afford somebody that great teaching you how to be great in this way, because he has a skill you don't fucking have, obviously. And
Which he has
that,
cultivated for decades.
well,
Oh,
and I think we make it sound easy too sometimes,
yeah,
like because we're
right.
speaking our spirit, and so they're like, oh, that resonates, that resonates. Well, I could have come up with that. Why are you charging, baby? Because you fucking didn't come up with it, did you?
Exactly. Like, that's what I used to say on stage. It's like, well, you're saying it from below the stage, right? Interesting.
Exactly.
And also, what when they when we criticize about our why you raise your voice, because it happened to me as well, wanting to be like this peaceful Buddha like, but then I
Yes.
realized, wait, two things are true at the same time. I am a loving person, absolutely yes. Um, am I a ferocious defender of life? Absolutely fucking yes. And I'm willing to punch an idiot if he's stepping out of line in defense of absolutely yes. If I must, I have fouled at my neighbors. Not all of them. I'm not that kind of neighbor, but I had a neighbor who he was trying to kick us out of the apartment only because I smoked cannabis.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, I'm an educator. I have the certifications and the all the things that authorize me to smoke cannabis and teach you
Right.
how it should be. So what my point to him was, I'm helping this neighborhood because if I exist here and people in crisis come here, they will learn a thing that they won't learn from a dealer. But since he was opposing that, well, I had to scream at him. I howled at him to from the garden up to his window, saying, "You want to?" I was teaching my daughter how to use a sword, by the way, and he screamed from there, and I was like, "You want to come down here and teach me how to use lethal power?" That's what I thought. But this doesn't make us like evil or whatnot. In the end, what this guy did was he bought me sweet bread because he realizes if we are when you're the force, what I want our listeners to understand is when you are the force filling the room and that room is in alignment with that big spirit of yours. Dude, the worst case scenario from a howling voice is going to be coffee, bread, and music.
Yeah.
Because
God, that's a good
that,
point.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because
And
once we're that high,
alignment
we
is the
agree.
key word right there. If you're doing things from a place of alignment, you're not, it doesn't fucking matter kind of what the outcome is, because whether you see it or not, it's big. It just
Yeah.
creates the aura, the circle, the bubble, like that, and it follows you until you can see it in this current reality.
And also when that is done to when that is done voluntarily or intentionally in communities and in neighborhoods, what that does is it offers like puzzle pieces that other people can then, having those around, they can realize something that they can add to the thing that no one
Yeah.
else was adding to the thing.
Yeah.
And when someone dares to do that and go like, "Hey guy, I did this. I hope you don't mind again. Sorry, I'm sorry." You know how people are when they go like present the thing that they did, but
Right.
they put their heart into it.
Yeah.
Um, and then it happens the thing where we know that you receive it and you're like, "You're making me cry,"
Yeah.
and I'm just remembering you, you dumbass. I don't even have the thing in my hand anymore, you idiot. I say that to my friends. It's a term of endearment. I'm terrible with my emotions. It is too surprising. I want to say beautiful things. I want to hug you and kiss you, but it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
And that multiplies because as those do, a friend and mentor of mine taught me, words are convincing, actions are dragging. In Spanish it's much more fluid, but what it
Yeah,
essentially
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
I
it is.
get
La
it. I get
palabra
it.
convence, pero el ejemplo arrastra. Your example is the shiniest star you can put in the heavens
It's
because it
exactly right.
joins heaven and earth to anyone who sees it,
I
and
love
it's
it.
awesome.
It's so true. And it does make like the really hard days make sense. Like those days where you're like, how am I going to pay this bill? Or how am I going to do this? Whatever it is. I just stop and I'm like, well, no one's going to answer that question. So, keep moving, keep doing what you're doing, because this is what you're doing. And I still feel very solid over every decision I'm making. I don't have a single ounce of doubt over what I'm doing. The doubt just comes in like, well, but am I not doing enough? Because like, why am I not seeing the results that I thought I would see by now? You know what I mean? But I know that I am doing enough because I'm doing what I feel led to do every time.
You reminded me of it. You brought to mind what this that you share, and thank you for sharing it this way. Have you watched the movie Meet the Robinsons? It's an animated movie about a kid, an orphan, who has
I
this.
haven't. I know what you're talking about though.
That the tagline of the thing is keep moving forward. You know, the kid is an inventor. X, Y, and Z. He ends up in the future, and then meets this amazing family, and they have this invention, and it sort of fails. And he's like, "Wait, let me try and fix it." And they're like, "Yeah, he's gonna fix it." And he was like, "Yeah, let's try," and it fails. He's like, "No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And they're like, "You failed. That's bringing you closer to your next victory. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. How many times are you gonna fail to move? Keep moving forward, because each failure you have is a success that a billion people did not even imagine." I mean, they don't say that in the movie, but that's the thing that,
Yes.
as you mentioned earlier, when someone goes like, "I could have said that," and you're like, "Yeah, but you heard it from me, right?"
Right. But you didn't. So,
Interesting.
that's
So,
fine. Just pointing it out.
so subscribe here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Subscribe here. Sign up
Yeah.
here.
Here's the link right here
Here's
for
the
when
link.
you're ready to shut the fuck up and listen. Here you go.
Yeah.
Just real quick.
And we say it lovingly. If anyone listening to this goes like, "They said shut the fuck up, I'm gonna follow," you better fucking follow, because it's for your own benefit.
That's
That's
exactly
gonna be
right.
cool. We announced cookies and coffee at the end of every howling. So hi, here we go.
Exactly. I love that. I fucking love that. Well, because I mean, listen, this is the reason that I don't do like a ton of editing on this show. Like if there is a pause, like because oftentimes some stupid computer thing will happen and we'll pop out of the thing and we have to come back on. I'll delete the pause so that nobody's sitting there, but I really leave pretty much everything in. This is why I don't do a pre-meeting, because I want to meet you for the first fucking time. And I want people to see how people can connect, never having met each other, but we're connecting over this commonality and how to. Sometimes it's awkward in the beginning, and I want you to hear that too, because I'm doing something new every day of my fucking life with every new person that I get to talk to. And I want to be me, whoever the fuck I am right then, because I'm a lot of things. I'm not just one, I'm not just two, I'm a lot of things. And because I do put love, joy, peace as my priority, doesn't mean that I'm not sometimes a fucking bitch, because sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm a bitch to myself. Sometimes I just say fuck unnecessarily because I like the word fuck, you know, like, but I'm me. And every day I'm stepping into that more and more. And I feel me becoming this bigger thing because I'm accepting her for the first time in my life. Every time I meet a new part of me, I welcome her and I want to be a part of her. And I want her to get everything that she didn't get through all those years of bullshit in childhood. And then the years following, hating myself for all the things that happened in childhood. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yes. And just to reply to this, I just met you for the first time today, and just tiny impression here. You're so radiant, my eyes go like, we're gonna clap. How? With tears. Great, let's do that. So, yes, and thank you for doing this, because this is the medicine, people. This is how the promised land of whatever dimension we were told by Deepak Chopra, whomever the fuck said that shit. Oh, by the way, I dump on those people so much, so you have no idea. But but I do it because I do it because I have an invention. I invented a thing and I validated the thing, so I can look at Deepak Chopra and Joe Dispenza and go like, "You did not invent shit. You just regurgitated shit."
Yeah.
So I don't like it that they charge thousands of dollars just to teach you to meditate. It's like, dude, that's fucking Visor's $800 for a fucking blindfold that's insane.
Right.
That's
When you can go to
insanity.
Dollar Tree and get you a little fucking sleep mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Get a fucking
It
sleep
is
mask and
frustrating
get it with your
sometimes.
friend. Yeah. But
So tell me about these cards that you have.
this is very, I love it because my full name is Andrew Nicolas Barajas McQueenie, which is a whole mixture of. I am Mexican Jamaican. My mom was Jamaican. My father's Mexican. My mom passed away when I was 4, so that's where the happy, yay, fun times. I
Mm.
had a stepmother.
Oh.
Stepmother, Disney, all those things.
Oh,
Yeah, I had them.
honey, I feel you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, boomer raised. Exactly.
Hmm. We're all
Um,
we're all a part of a oneness if you were raised by a boomer. Yep.
exactly. And so barajas is the cards. A deck of cards is called a baraja in Spanish.
Oh.
And so barajas is deck of cards, but barajas has a very interesting etymology because it comes from Persian. It comes from before Hebrew and Indo-European languages. Baraj, baraka, and then barajas. It means lightning, and it refers to the blessing given by the sacred.
Oh.
So, and the barajas, the deck of cards, tarot comes from all of this from this tradition. Oh, I
Okay.
invented I invented this because I recovered the memories of my ancestors through psychoanalysis.
Okay.
Because it works, people. Jungian psychoanalysis, it works. You will remember stuff that you thought was impossible, but
Hmm.
here we are.
These are so pretty too.
Right? I love them.
I love
Um,
them.
the original design was done with this. The first prototype was built using Magic the Gathering cards.
Wow.
Because they have a 5 area model. They did not invent it. The 5 point model is the Chinese have one in Chinese medicine, and there's many others.
Uh-huh.
Geometrically, it makes sense. I did a 5 area model of this for a life mapping protocol that I invented. And so five made sense. And so we've got 5 areas, 5 colors, which can be interpreted in any way. But in this particular model, we've got water because the first thing you were in life is water.
Yeah.
If you don't have water, you're not a person. You're a
Yeah.
leaf. Night, day, vegetation. I usually say it as floresta. Like
Okay.
this. Think of not just plants, but the plants that go.
Yeah.
Like look at the planet from outside of time and look at it just becoming this
Yeah.
gigantic. That's the
A
attitude.
burst. Yeah.
And finally, I'm still learning, so I call it love because it's what we reach. It's a thing that we call, this accumulation of good things, however murky or whatnot. No, but so these five colors allow for the mind to project into it.
Okay, so these are color coded to that first card that
They
you
are
just showed me.
they
Okay.
have a structure.
Yeah. Okay.
This there's a key. The key I cannot show it to you because it's an industrial secret.
Okay.
I had it. I took this to a lawyer and to neuropsychologists and neuroscientists and astrophysicists and biologists, and they
That's so
tested it
cool,
out
man. That's
and
so
they told
cool.
me, "Where did you get that from?" And I was like, "I invented it, bitches."
I did it, bitch. I'd like to thank me. Okay.
I'd like to thank me and my mom and my dad for their hunky panky. I'm making good use of it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Hell yes. Hell
And
yes, you
so
are.
the way this works, and the fun thing is, this instrument has its own use, and
Uh-huh.
it's super potent. This is as far as cognitive technology goes, this is the most powerful thing I have placed anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, and that's
Bro, I feel
that's a
the energy
very
coming
proud.
off of this. Literally, I can feel energy coming off of
It
this.
counts as a sacred instrument because
Yeah.
it's called the labyrinth deck, and it is a portable labyrinth. What this means is you can shuffle and unshuffle it, and you can get lost in it. You can wander around it, but you will never be lost because there's no way of not arranging the cards properly. Once you start playing with them, there's no way to have it wrong. The key also has, it tells you exactly how the card should be.
Okay.
But what this allows is for your mind to wander through the cards and through the spaces. What happens when you start wandering through the cards and through the spaces is you start coming across shapes and forms that will match certain thoughts and emotions that are happening as you're thinking.
Yeah.
As that matches what your mind, what your brain does, is it connects that to that. And it uses this as an external thought item
Wow.
as part of the mental inventory, as part of your cognitive inventory.
Uh-huh.
So as you start solving one problem, as you're pondering one thing that you want to solve, and this exercise goes with writing down like a bunch of questions. We go down 9 levels deep in introspective questions, and then to get out, we answer those questions. And that's where it gets super, where people go like, "What?" Because that's when you go like, "I was asking the heavens for an answer." Yeah, yeah, you're the answer. What? Oh, yes, I am. But in doing that, we provide the mind with a complete cycle. With a complete EUMA cycle. EUMA is a word I coined as a response to trauma. EUMA is what happens when you're doing a good thing that is good for you because you know it's good for you because it's good. Emotionally Unavailable
Whatever
Podcast.
that thing is. Yeah.
Ella no está. Shit. Um,
That's all
let's
right.
go pay. Let's go pay for groceries. um, So what this does is this is a cycle that nurtures your nervous system with good signals. And it's
Yeah.
good signals that are created by you. They are originated by you, which is that's the key. Because usually we take in from to feel better to whatnot, we lean on other things, and that's good. That's what the ecosystem exists for.
Right.
But when you're the one giving it to yourself and making it good for you, your nervous system rewires itself into an understanding of, I am this motor force of my own well being.
Right.
And it links it under, because all of our mental dialogue exists here in the prefrontal lobe and whatnot. Um, this plugs in all the cables without needing a verbal whatever, verbal thoughts or
No
verbalization.
external validation. Yeah. Like you can just get
Exactly.
it all right here and
Yeah.
be
It just
centered within yourself.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
So
So,
can I ask you, like, this is your invention and your method. Is this like you, it's your program? Do you then teach other people how to do this? Do you just sell the program? Like, what are you doing?
well, right now I paused all those things because I was very tired.
No, I feel
I
you. I feel
was
you.
very tired of promoting the whole thing. The labyrinth deck. Well, it's the labyrinth deck. It's called the labyrinth deck and the Sphinx protocol. The Sphinx protocol is that distinction of because of how this is set up. Um, because of how it is set up, it doesn't matter how you interact with the tool. No matter how you interact with the tool, your mind will find a topic, an idea, it will link something to it.
Yeah.
And because of the model itself, it will allow you to align thoughts and emotions that weren't even the ones that you were dealing with. You start with the cards. You start with one thing, and then with one thing in mind, and then you end up solving five other things. That's not what you were thinking about, but they just sort of click, and you have this eureka moment, like, oh, okay, you know. So what I was doing with this was, well, I was pushing towards um, renting it to like psychologists and clinics and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I have the prototypes built with Magic the Gathering cards. Those I do not know yet what to do with those, but I know that since that can be taught, I can teach you how to build one of these with like cards you can just go and get. I was thinking of building kits for schools, you know, so that kids can not just play the game Magic the Gathering, but use it as a thinking tool. You
Yeah.
know, if you have a kid who's like hyperactive and all that shit, you just put that in his hands so he's shuffling while listening, and he's going to remember every fucking word, and he's going to be the best student you've ever had.
Yeah.
This, for example, works with. We have worked with kids with Down syndrome with special needs. We don't even give them instructions; we just give them the cards. They
So
just
do
start
you
playing.
have like, is that the only deck of cards of that type, or like you have a website I could buy some, or no?
Right now, there's only 7 of these.
Wow, that's so cool though.
Yeah, it's there can be like the same place where I, ordered, because I sent them the design to the
Sure.
manufacturer so they would. Like those that can be done. The thing is, I don't yet have the clarity of how
Sure.
exactly, you know,
How do I want to
um,
deliver this? Yeah.
how I want to deliver this. Yeah. So in the meantime, I've been telling stories on TikTok.
I love that, dude. I love that. I'll make sure I follow you.
And I'll make sure to do more content in English because I was doing when I was doing great in TikTok is when I was doing in both languages. Because I was
Yeah.
reaching Europe. Um, but yeah, we should and let's hang out there as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely. More.
I'm trying to get better about like doing stuff like that, but I need collaboration. Like I'm not really an initiator. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
believe in human design, I'm a generator. So I respond from other people's energies. And like if I give an idea, because I'll just have like a thought, and then if the person I say it to doesn't feel the energy, pick it up and bring it to life, it's dead. It's gone.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like, oh, you weren't meant for that. Okay, fuck off. And then I go find somebody else or I just do it myself. But most of the stuff that I'm kind of circling towards now, I am looking for more collaboration.
Awesome. Let's do this then.
All
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm open to it as well. And um I have several things that I want to play with that I've been sort of it's actually been my homework this week to get that uh sorted out in my own head. Um but yes, there's a lot that can be done and there's a lot that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna be perfectly sincere, of all the markets that are currently rising, the well-being market is the one that's rising the most because as the
Yeah.
flames go up in the world,
Yeah,
the
because
more
I'm
we need
creating a course right now called Surviving the Shit Show. So like building up your world when the world
excellent
around you
name.
is crumbling. Yeah. Like and,
I
and I'm like, I'm doing it for myself because I'm like, how do we get through this shit?
that's yeah. Send me a link because yeah.
I will. That's what I was
We
working
do.
on the workbook. I want to do a workbook so that everybody's got the content up front because I can get behind on shit. So I'm almost done with this workbook, and then I've got to figure out when to launch in the next week or so. But I'm doing it. It's not going to
You
be
know,
beautiful and perfected, but it's going to be
that's where I can help as well.
really.
Yeah, because like I'm certified with the Secretariat of Education and the work, blah blah blah, and all those things. Um, and also hablo español, so I could translate it as well.
That's true. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's
Yeah.
let's let's play with those. Also, I
Okay.
mean, when with these things, I'm always very willing, and also I'm always very I don't know what the word is in English. Um, but it's if I can contribute in with one thing, it doesn't have to be gigantic, but if it's one thing that is good and nice and strong and it adds strongly, oof, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Because you're already doing your thing, and we've met in this point. We met through threads of
Yeah.
all places.
Yeah.
Um, and if we can take that tiny minuscule convergence and shake it into a like you better
Disrupt.
change your lives. No.
Yep.
You've seen the joke, right, with the crystals? The people who go like, I'm buying a crystal going, you better solve my life.
No, I haven't. That's great though. It's true though. Sometimes
You
sometimes
better.
people on a crystal aisle are real down and they're really thinking that crystal's gonna help.
I could tell you stories about witches who they teach about being a witch and all those things and the magic and the blah blah and honorability of witches, and they stole from me. So, there's a saying in Spanish that goes, "En todos lados se cuecen habas," which is something like it's like things get cooked and burnt all over. There's wherever you can find all sorts of or
Everybody
um,
is everybody. You know what I mean?
everybody's
I
here.
love confirmations like this because this entire conversation has been a confirmation of just like be the fuck who you are, and somebody else doesn't have to be your Buddha. Like, not everybody knows what the fuck they're talking about. And like you said, when we first started talking, taking things with a cup of salt, like, just because somebody says something doesn't mean I have to follow everything that they say. I can still do whatever the fuck I want in my way, in a meaningful way that means something to me. And then the people who are supposed to be in receipt of me, they're not asking me to show up any differently than who I am. I tell people all the time, be you or your people can't find you. So like, I love this because I do just feel even more confirmed in just being who the fuck I am.
Be you or your people can't find you. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I do have to go, but
Yes.
I've loved this conversation so much. I promise we will be in touch.
Yes.
And if you really are willing to translate into Spanish, that would be so fucking wonderful. I
Yeah.
need to like have more resources like that because I have none right now, because anybody I know that's bilingual is fucking busy as fuck. So they don't really
Yeah.
have time for that shit.
Yeah, but it's a thing where you just insert it in 15-minute by 15-minute blocks of I'm gonna translate this and I'm gonna translate this. And then when you notice, like, it's done. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate
you
you.
have
And
a
I
friend
love
in
this
me.
conversation, man. If you ever want, every time I have one of these like soul connections, I'm like, if you ever want to collaborate on anything, we can make it happen. So you just stay in touch.
Absolutely, yes.
All
Absolutely.
right. Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Have a
having
great day, man. Seriously. Thank you so much.
me. Likewise, take care.
Bye.
Emotionally unavailable.
Hey, what do you say? Listen, first and foremost, please make sure that you have provided this podcast with a 5-star rating on whichever platform that you are listening. If you want to support the show, please rate, like, and share. Also like, comment, and share on any social media posts that you see from me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Please follow the podcast Facebook, Emotionally Unavailable Podcast. You can shop my fun online store or schedule a one-on-one with me at emotionallyunavailablepodcast.org. I'm offering what I'm calling non-traditional counseling, astrology readings, and tarot readings. And thank you so much for listening to the Emotionally Unavailable Podcast.